Hello, lovers.
Roses are red, violets are blue. We really want to share our conversation hearts with you.
Welcome to Likewise's Week of Love with a new guest every day. I'm Issa.
And I'm Sam, and we're so excited for you to join us and our author, Galentines, while we share our love for romance books.
What can I say? We love love.
We're so excited to be back for day 6 of Week of Love, which is actually our last day of Week of Love, which is so sad. Like, Valentine's Day is kind of officially over now. That's funny to say now while we're recording before Valentine's Day has ever even happened. But um it's kind of like, I don't know, it's bittersweet ending, but we cannot be more excited to have our guest for today, the lovely Katy Michele at author Katy Michele on Instagram. And we are just, oh my gosh, we're over the moon to record this today. So before I fangirl too much at the beginning, I'll let Katy introduce herself.
Oh my gosh, that so sweet. Like I never in a million years thought anyone would ever say fangirling over me. And so just know that that is literally a dream come true. But yes, I'm so happy to be here. I'm Katy. It's always so awkward when like when you introduce yourself. I feel like in any setting, like I always go back to like introducing yourself like in college when it's like
Classes.
go around. Yeah. It's like, what do you say that isn't like too personal, but also like not like everyone else. But anyway, so I'll just keep it nice and short. I'm 27 years old. I'm based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When I'm not writing, I am a sixth grade reading and writing teacher. So I would say reading and writing kind of my whole life, both personally and professionally. It's much more fun in the personal level because with 11 and 12-year-olds, I'm just constantly trying to convince them that reading and writing are cool things to do, but they don't believe me. So it's so fun to talk about it with people who actually enjoy it. But yeah, so a little bit about me aside from like the author side. I'm a huge introvert. So like we were saying before we started recording, a little nervous for today, but I hope it goes well. I'm actually sure it will go well, but a little bit of an introvert, so a little on my comfort zone, but excited. And total homebody, we were talking about how Sundays are spent in not the best, I shouldn't say it's not the best, in the comfiest clothes at the home. So it's perfect for recording as well. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
Love that. That was a great intro, actually.
Dude, that was
Like,
That was
so
really
I
funny.
feel
good.
like, yes, you had so much to say about yourself. I'm like, wow. I'm thinking about how whenever Issa and I are like, maybe we should like go back and do regular introductions again, or like, should we like tell people more about ourselves? Like, let's catch up and have new introductions. We're like, no, we don't even know what to
It's
say
so
anymore.
weird. Either way.
I
No, that
love
was
it.
so good. I was like, wow, I'm learning so much. And
Thanks.
like, it was entertaining too, not just like hearing someone talk about themselves, because I feel like that's what it would be like if I were to try to introduce myself. It'd just be like me giving a lecture about
That's what it
myself.
felt like. So I'm glad it didn't come out that
Yeah.
way.
No, it was so good. Um, and before we learn more about Katy and more about Crash and Burn, we're gonna start this episode off as we always do with our roses and thorns. So Sam, wanna start us off with that?
Okay, I'm going out of order. I usually start with thorns because,
Tea.
but the end of my thorns kind of almost becomes another rose. So it's like a rose thorn sandwich. So I'm really excited. So my first rose is that I love watching the NFL Pro Bowl games. So like the week before the Super Bowl, and they have just like the people who like they do silly little things. Like they do like golf drives, like dodgeball. And so I was just catching up on watching the videos from those because they just happened. Um, and then my thorn is that I can like feel a reading slump coming, and I'm really scared. And I thought I wasn't gonna have any this year because I just had like two kind of big long ones last year, and I was like, no, like I kind of know what it's like now, and it's not gonna happen to me. And the situation's kind of sad because like it's simply because I accidentally signed up for like way too many arcs, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I have one every week, which is like cool. But I just like for some reason they were all spaced out so much in the signups that I didn't think about the fact that they were all gonna happen at the same time. So rookie mistake. But it's like not that it's not bad though, because all of the books have been so good. So it's like not that any of them have been like not my cup of tea and sending me into a slump. So that's what's good, at least, is that they're all so good. Um, but because of my little reading slump, it made me so nervous because I was like, I literally just want to read this book so bad. And I had a migraine for a couple days, so I was like trying to read Crash and Burn then, but I was like, I literally can't read. And then but last night, guys, I literally read so much of it last night. And I'm just so obsessed. So I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, wait, what if my reading slump doesn't come anymore? Because like I'm gonna like eat the rest of this book up and I'm not gonna have a slump. So I hope I'm like, please, I'm like, save me from this slump. But I can also, I don't know. Sometimes it's unavoidable. But rose number two is that I'm just so obsessed with Crash and Burn right now. And I'm sad I didn't finish it before this, but it's okay. What are your roses and thorns, Katie?
Um, well, first off, I'm glad that Crash and Burn is a rose for you. I just have to put that out there. But really quick before I say mine, when I started listening to you guys and I heard you guys do the roses and thorns, I was so excited because I do these with my students like at the beginning of every week. And then we also do what we call like a bud at the end of the week of something like you're excited for. So when I saw it in like the notes to do, and then when I hear it on the episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like my student. So cute. But
That's so
anyway,
cute.
my rose, I would say I was for sure like after sending out the arcs of Crash and Burn, I think this is pretty well known, but I don't know for sure. But when I did my first book, Giving Me Butterflies, I literally just threw it out into the world. I didn't really like do anything with it beforehand. So this was my first time doing arcs and sending it, and I was very lucky to have a pretty like seamless, like no issues with sending them out, people getting them. And so my rose is the first few reviews that I got back. I know as an author, they always say like not to look at them or whatever, but I can't help it. It's almost like self-sabotage. It's like I have to look. I just can't, knowing they're there, I have to look. But luckily they've been good so far, which is good. And then also, my fiance's birthday was this past week, so it was really nice. We both asked off of work and just had a really chill day. So now, I kind of forgot what it's like to work a full week after having those days of last week. So going into a full work week this week, but that's okay. I would say Thorn, I just, it's the easy one. I did my taxes too this
Oh,
past week, and it's never that much fun. Luckily, again, no problems, but still not fun.
Ugh, I hate doing taxes.
Stuck.
Ugh. My thorn, this is so silly. My eye's been like twitching for weeks. I feel like it's been months, but it's probably only been weeks. And I thought it was like maybe like lack of sleep or like maybe electrolyte deficiency, but I'm just convinced this is my life at this point. Like I don't know anything's gonna stop it. Um, yeah. My rose. Okay, I've used this so much for like all these episodes, and I feel like it's such a cop out, but it's also hard finding a new rose when we're recording like a couple days in a row. But also, anyways, this episode, LOL. Like honestly, Crash and Burn lives rent free in my head. And maybe that's just like recency bias and stuff, but I'm probably the one paying it rent, honestly. Speechless, no words. I'm stoked. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved it. And then now I'm getting to talk to the author. Oh,
Right. I love
celebrity status.
it.
I love that. It makes me so excited to finish. Like last night, I saw Issa post her review, and I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I was just like, Issa's review. This is like the longest review I've seen Issa had in a while. And so I was like, oh, I'm excited. I read the whole thing out to my boyfriend, and he was like, you're still going? And I'm like, I'm only on paragraph 3. And like, it was so good though. And so then her and I have been talking about it so much. So we're definitely really excited to talk about it more with you. But before we get into our questions too much, we figured we'd start by letting you kind of give your own little quick rundown or promo about Crash and Burn. Um, by the time this episode's out, it will have been out for about a week. So that sounds probably weird to say as we're ahead of
Crazy.
its actual release. But yeah, just any details you want to give about it and where listeners can find it.
Yeah, so Crash and Burn is my second book that is within the same universe of my first book. So the series name is Lenny's Bartenders. We'll talk about this a little more later on too, but it will be a 3-book series. So this is the second book. Um, Crash and Burn is very heavy on the brother's best friend trope, the rock star romance trope, and also it was my attempt on like a slow burn. I've never really liked reading or I've never gravitated towards slow burns, but I tried my little spin on it. So it's been and so far the feedback has been good that it's like not too slow where it drags on, but also not too fast. But overall, it will be available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. So paperback via Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. And it follows Mia and Eddie. So the Lenny's Bartender series follows the 3 bartenders at Lenny. So book 1, Giving Me Butterflies, follows Emmett, who owns the bar. Eddie, his best friend, is a bartender there and also a part-time drummer for a local band. So that's kind of where you have the overlap between the first 2 books. Mia is then the little sister of Eddie's friend from the band, who's also Lily's singer. So that's where the brother's best friend comes in. But overall, like I said, brother's best friend, rock star, for sure. But also, I think it has a lot of mental health rep, a lot of emphasis on what it's like to deal with mental health, what it's like to deal with grief. And overall, just 2 kind of, for lack of a better word, like broken people who have their own struggles and then end up finding each other, but rather than using each other to like fill that void or to like kind of overlook the healing that they need to do, they kind of show each other that they're capable of healing. And then of course have to fall in love throughout the way. I mean, that's a given, but yeah, so I also too, like, this one was so like Giving Me Butterflies will always have a special place in my heart, but Crash and Burn is where also like the big found family could come in, with the 6 characters that are within the universe. So it's been really fun to put the emphasis on the 6 of them because they were all introduced in book 1, but now you kind of see that found family element come to life for book 2.
Yes.
Crazy. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh. Love that. Also, this is so random. But my dad's name is Lenny. So okay, I've created this like false narrative in my head this whole time. Like I'm like, okay, I know Emmett owns the bar, but in my head, it's my dad.
Perfect.
Well, no, he's not my dad. Okay, guys, I'm not. That's so funny. But I'm like, I'm picturing like this like universe, and I'm like, imagine it's like this is like another life where my dad owned this bar. So it's just like so funny to me. Um, but no, love that so much. It's so fun to like hear the authors of all these books explain like from their perspective what the book is, because then it's like, oh, like maybe like I was thinking these things and then hearing like kind of I don't know exactly that and little hints towards the future. So that's really exciting. Um, we did talk a little bit about Giving Me Butterflies, and so that kind of goes perfectly into our questions. Because Crash and Burn is your second release, was there anything you learned from publishing your debut that kind of influenced or changed any part of your process for Crash and Burn, or in general, like advice for other indies?
Definitely. So yeah, so with Crash and Burn being the second release, I definitely knew more going in. Like I said a little bit at the beginning, and I've said, on social media before, like Giving Me Butterflies was literally like I wrote it in complete like secrecy from the people closest to me. And it was one day it's like core memory. We were a group of my friends, we were at a bar and we were all just kind of going around talking about like what we would do if we didn't currently have our job, didn't currently live the life that we lived. It was kind of like, what more do we want? And this was at this point now, like a year and a half ago. And very much like one off, like, oh, I want to write a book. I was like, I feel like I could do it. Like, whatever, I don't know. Like, that'd be fun. Like, just very one off. And then that year of teaching was really, really hard. It was just one of those years that, I mean, teaching in general was really hard, but I was going through a bout of like, dang, this was like really hard. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to try and write the book and it's going to be more for me. So with Giving Me Butterflies, like it is a very personal story, also because I never had I didn't write it with the intention to publish it. So that was kind of something interesting too, that it was just like, it was healing for me. So hearing that it's been healing for other people to read too has been really cool. Cause again, it was never supposed to leave my computer. It was never supposed to leave really my brain to begin with. But so when I finally did decide to do something with it, my fiance and my friends who I had told were really, really supportive of like, just see where it can go. You know, if you just leave it in your computer, or like I had it printed out and like in my bottom drawer of my desk, like just it was just there because it's like, oh, I could do it if I wanted, but it's like, no, I'm actually going to do it. So I went through I guess you could call it like a publishing company. It was based out of like I'm in Milwaukee. This publishing company was based out of Madison. But they're just kind of like a non-traditional publishing company. Again, like they can't really even be, I wouldn't even necessarily call them one, because all they really help you do is self-publish. They help you set up everything that you need to do behind the scenes. The two women who were there helping me were the ones who like taught me how to like get your ISBN and how to, become your own LLC, and like how to go on Ingram and on Amazon, and like how to do everything. But they also did it for me. So it was very like, I would say, not traditional way of doing things, because it was self-published, but it was very much, I didn't do much of the work. So I would say when it comes to then like it's published, it's out there, like now what? That's where I was like, what the heck do I do now? So what I did is I had my fiance, who is a graphic designer. He made me like a little thing to post on my personal social media accounts. And I just put it out there to like friends and family on social media. I was like, hey, like I did this. And that was kind of it. I was kind of like, all right, cool. Like now what? And then that's when I really was like opened up to this whole community that I didn't even really know, like I didn't know I could be a part of. I knew that it existed, but I didn't know I could be a part of it. Cause being someone who has followed people on Book Talk and Bookstagram, like I saw it, but I just never pictured myself being a part of it. So that was kind of the beginning where I found a few people and started talking to them, and a few people then wanted to read my book, and it just kind of opened up like this kind of like new reality, I guess, of like, oh, I can be a part of this. So when it comes to like that whole process and what I learned, self-publishing is really hard, because now I did this all on my own the second time. I shouldn't say all on my own, because I've had help with like, again, with other indie authors and editors and people who have done it before. So I would say that like doing this the second time around, I, again, have no regrets about giving me butterflies, but now that I'm doing it again, like asking for help and being willing to kind of put yourself out there, in the sense of like everyone else is kind of just trying their best and, doing what they can with what they know. So using the people who have experience and who are willing to help you is something that I would definitely recommend. Like there's no one out there that knows exactly how you should publish or exactly how you should go about it, but there are people who can give you advice and also be just support for you. That's like a huge thing that I didn't have the first time, aside from like close friends. People who like get it, people who have done it before, people who know the struggles, but also know like how high the highs are and how low the lows are. So it's been really nice this time around having that like sense of community. So that's what I would tell anyone, is like, take advantage of the people who are willing to help you. And also like, just like try your best. Like honestly, just like putting yourself out there can be so scary, because I've seen people post on like Threads and on Instagram that they feel like as an indie author, they don't really have like their space within indie authors. Cause I know like being like in the middle of it, I know that there seems to be like pockets of people, and you see people getting together for giveaways, or people getting together because they live near each other, and it can be kind of overwhelming because you feel like you're on the outside. But everyone I've met has been so willing to, build a friendship, build a connection. And so, yeah, you just have to kind of put yourself out there. And even as I'm saying that, I'm like, what I was telling you guys at the beginning, how this is so like so nerve-wracking to be doing. But I have to take my own advice too, is like you have to put yourself out there to make those connections because they're really worth it.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. And now that you've like experienced it twice or like in the middle of experiencing it twice, is there like a part of like the process, like either from conception or actually writing it or, making playlists or sending out arcs or publishing it? Like, is there a part of the process that you're most looking forward to? It's like your favorite part or
Yeah, I think it's always, I personally like the planning part of it, like where you start putting together like Pinterest boards. I'm someone who I usually make the playlist before I start writing. So like even with book three, which spoiler alert, I have not even started yet because that just sounds like so much to do. But don't worry, I have all the Pinterest boards, I have the playlist done. I
Love
have
it.
I have that kind of stuff, the fun stuff done. But no, I think the planning part is so fun because you actually get to see the idea come to life. And then if I could just I do really do enjoy the writing process too. I think because me personally being someone who, I enjoy writing. I like to be by my I am introverted, don't mind being by myself. Like the writing can be really in it can be really fun too. Um, but then it also I've learned with both books, it often can then lead to like, this book sucks. I'm not doing this, like scratch it all. So that's where like that community piece comes in and finding alpha readers and beta readers who remind you that like you can do this and this is fun and it kind of brings the story to life. So I would say I really like the planning to the writing to the I really enjoyed the beta window this time around because I didn't do that with Giving Me Butterflies. Everything that comes after, like the edits and like that kind of stuff, that's not as fun for me personally. And then also now with like the self-publishing, that's like the scary part too, because I'm just so scared I'm gonna mess something up. But other than that, so it's kind of crazy to think about like how much goes into it. And that's why like anytime I know me personally, when I see other indie authors who are talking about the process and are like really transparent about the process, I think that's so important because in theory, like anyone can write a book, like anyone can purchase the ISBN and anyone can, put it onto Amazon. Like really anyone can do it, but it's a matter of like the people who do it, like a lot of work goes into it. So
Yeah, no, that's so true. It's so interesting to think about. And I've been seeing so much, like you said, on threads, like of people getting even more transparent about their process or like just really deep behind the scenes of like everything.
mhm.
Um, but also like you said, like that thing about the like pockets in the community. Like one day I just woke up and I went on threads and it was like the indie author community is clicky or whatever was the whole debate.
Yes.
And I was like, wait. And I was like, Issa and I had kind of talked about that because I mean, the second because we were kind of the same, like we knew of the like community on like Book Talk, Bookstagram, indie authors, everything. Um, and we had made like one or two connections with indie authors but then we kind of hit a moment where we started interacting with so many more. And at first we were like, it was kind of that imposter syndrome thing of like, are we allowed to be here? Like that's how we felt. And now that we're kind of in it more, we're like, okay, yeah, we're definitely allowed to be here. Um, but it was funny. It's so interesting. I feel like it's not, from our experience, it has not felt clicky because there definitely is those pockets or those moments where you're like, wait, I'm realizing that like all my friends are also all mutuals with like we were like starting to feel like, oh, we don't have anybody who doesn't already know each other or interact with each other. But it was very interesting. But now it's I don't know. We found we do actually have some people who don't know each other, and so it's been kind of fun to like introduce some people to each other. Um, but
we love
yes,
being
I love
matchmakers.
we do. It's
Yeah.
very fun. Um, but also like aside from those online connections and building that online community, I know you mentioned that the people in your life have all been so supportive, which is amazing. And we absolutely love the fact that your fiance designs your covers. Like that's just so amazing.
That's
Um,
the cutest thing
yes,
ever.
yes. What is it like to have your person like involved in your process in that way?
Selfishly right off the bat, like, because of course I'm going to tell you how much I love him and how fun it is to do it alongside him, but also like people who, when you hire someone to do something for you, like, of course, like there's a process and there's a timeline, like it's so nice. Like being like, hey Max, I need you to pull up this and do this, this, and this really fast to the cover. And he'll be like, okay, and then like do like do on his computer, show it to me, and I'm like, let's do this, this, and that. So it's like I feel like, again, selfishly, the process goes like much quicker because I have him right there. But also again, like it's so fun because especially for giving me butterflies, like how I was saying before, I really did it all alone. I was so nervous to really put it out there. So kind of having him in my corner to like help me with it was really special. And also like I think other authors can really attest to how a book really feels real when you see the cover. And I will never forget, like I came home from work one day because Max works from home on certain days. I came home from work and he had like the first draft of the Giving Me Butterflies cover like done on his computer. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is real. Like I'm actually publishing a book. And it's just so cool to like share those moments with him. But yeah, and I'm just so lucky because he really is my biggest fan. And so he believes in me even when I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I can't do it. Other people can do it better, and having him so close to the process like helps. And it's so cute too, because like, he's learning about the community. And so when I talk about people, he knows who they are and he like knows what books I have of theirs. So it's like fun to have like a partner within it too.
That's so sweet. Yeah. I mean, Sam and I, we talk about this all the time. Well, with each other and also on the podcast. But like, we are so privileged in the fact that like we do this together. And it's like we already have a partnership. We already have a number one fan. Like, our number one fan is each other. Well, I'm saying maybe someone else is my number one fan. But no, and like, it's just exactly like that. Like, when you have someone so close to you that you're able to like just work on, be like, hey, next room over. Oh, I guess we're not next room over. We're a couple states over, lots of states over. But like next room over, it's so much easy. It really is like so much easier to like get things done. Just be able to do things like when we were in college, living in the same like sorority house, we were able to just go to each other's rooms, and talk. Or when we had our apartments, could just go hang out and be like, okay, let's work on pod stuff right now. And yeah, like it really is like such a privilege that maybe we do take for granted because like we've always done this virtually. Like, and so being together and doing pod stuff, that was so foreign to us. We're like, what the heck? How do we do this? But like recently we just finally created like a likewise Canva account. And so now we can like both be on it at the same time, like doing things and stuff instead of like always having to share things together. It's like, wow, taking next steps in our likewise relationship.
Partnership. So cute.
No, it's so good. It's always so fun because like at first it's almost like scary to open up something that feels so like secret and vulnerable to the people in your life. And then like the second you do, and then you're like, oh wait, I had no reason to be worried because now they're just like trying to support me and like trying to put in the effort to understand like what I'm doing for this. So I've been definitely experiencing some of that too. So funny. Like this should have been my rose actually. I just ordered an iMac yesterday, which is so wild of me. But my boyfriend was like trying to like help me like pick out or like figure out like if I should upgrade the storage or like should I do this and like all this stuff. And I was like, oh, like thanks for like trying to help her. He was like, like if you want, like I could wait till like let's wait till our tax returns come. He's an accountant also. So he's like thinking with like a money brain. He's like, let's wait till we get our tax returns. And I'm like, no, I need it now. I'm like, I need this as soon as possible. So it's just so funny.
Trackpad
It's just
broken. Desktop needed.
desk, yeah. So it's just so, I don't know, it's just different sometimes when you
Mhm.
realize that the people in your life like will continue to check up on it and ask about it. And yeah, oh, it's just so sweet. I love hearing about that. Shifting into a little bit more, because obviously you said you love the like planning process and like, getting to make Pinterest boards, playlists, all that stuff. So like where are some of your favorite places to draw inspo from for like crafting your characters and some of the aesthetics? Because we're big fans of the Rockstar Girlfriend aesthetic around here.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how much I liked the Rockstar Girlfriend aesthetic until I like dove into Pinterest and I was like, okay, I have to have a character who is this because this will never be me. This is not me. But maybe in my deepest dreams one day. But I live vicariously through Mia in the sense of like I always really liked the idea of like the I guess like the band photographer or like really anyone, like just the behind the scenes. Like I think it's like so powerful when you have this like boy band of like rock stars, but then you have like a woman like kind of pulling the strings like behind. Cause like with Crash and Burn, it's not really a spoiler, but I mean she starts as the band photographer, but like inevitably she becomes like a bigger part of the band like throughout the story. So it's just really, like girl power, like, they're all pretty up on stage, but then like she's pulling the strings behind the scenes, like making them look good. Um, but yeah, I really pull from Pinterest. I think Pinterest is so helpful that you can really like it's almost like you have something in your brain, but then Pinterest helps you like conceptualize it, like actually seeing it in real life. Cause it's like, wait, not everyone can take a peek inside my brain. So I have to like show this in some like visual sense. But I would say Pinterest and then for sure music. Like I said, I make playlist before I write. I shouldn't like I'm acting as if I've written all these books, but for both books, I had the playlist first. I usually pull like two or three, maybe four songs. For Giving Me Butterflies, it was less because I didn't really know what I was doing. For Crash and Burn, I pulled like three or four songs and I was like, okay, I can like do something with these songs and kind of match the vibe. So music is huge inspiration. And I think it like when it comes to like inspiration too, I would say like myself and like the people around me are big too. I like to pull a lot from myself because I think it's hard to write from a place that you don't really understand or that you don't really know. So when we talk about, kind of how with Crash and Burn having a really big mental health rep and then also Giving Me Butterflies, like I wouldn't say one of the main tropes is mental health, but I think it's there. But really pulling from places that I understand as a person to then kind of put into more of that like fictionalized sense of self. But ways of thinking come a lot from me too. And I'm also very lucky to be in a relationship, to be loved by someone who makes writing about love very easy. Like both books, I pull a lot from my own relationship and my idea of love and wanting to emulate that in a way that it's like, okay, it doesn't have to just all be fiction or like imaginative. Like you are deserving of this too. Like this exists in real life too. And then also my friends. I am very lucky to have a group of friends that like the Lenny's crew is like very much based off of like the dynamics and like the whole kind of like underlying thing for both books of like how I think it's like how these characters like don't do well with parents. Like we have that kind of in there with the Lenny's crew. I think Annie says it at one point. But I pull a lot too from like finding this group of people who we all have our different struggles, we all have our different upbringings, but we've also been together through so much that now as we're adults, it's like I need to see you on holidays the same way I see my family on holidays. Like you're the first people that I want to go to when something exciting happens. It's like those friends who become family. So again, writing about love, writing about that found family, I'm very fortunate that I can pull a lot from real life.
That's so sweet. Oh my gosh. I mean, because like I've seen that, I've heard that a lot. Like, I mean, anyone who like a creative, any person, like they take what they know and put that into their craft. And like I think that's so special that like you have that. And like I don't know, I could like reading it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Oh, I love that. And like hearing that, oh no, this is like based on real life kind of. I was like, oh, that makes it even better. That's so sweet. So kind of going along with like inspiration and stuff. I really was thinking about this because last night, as we all know, Sam went on a big old uh big old binge read and she got so far in one night. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, Sam, way to go. And then this morning, she's like, okay, who'd you picture as this person? Because I was picturing this person, even though that's absolutely not right at all. I was like, that's hilarious. And so I just want to know, who'd you fan cast or author cast, I guess, if you had people in mind.
Okay, I am so happy that I looked at our doc for this question because I like saw that you guys were adding stuff and I was like, thank God I saw this one before the podcast because I would have been here like, I don't know. But when I had a few minutes to think about it, because this is the thing too, even when I read, I don't know about you guys, but like when I read, I either picture like the same people regardless of like, what the author's vision is. I picture like the same people, but I also like don't really visualize like faces. Like I don't know if that sounds
Mhm.
weird, but like I don't really visualize the faces. So when I was thinking about like Eddie and Mia, I was like, who the heck are these people? Like, I don't know. Cause I will say, um, when I wrote Giving Me Butterflies, I was like, okay, just every character will be like a person in real life because then I can like pull exactly like what they look like. But then as I was writing, I'm like, no, that's really weird to like be picturing like my friends all the time, like on that level. So I initially like my Mia has always been my friend Stacy, and she knows it. I told her I was going to talk about her. She has always been, Mia in my mind. And then it kind of like, as I kept writing and stuff, like, there's elements of her and who she is, but then also there's like the fictionalized aspect, the stuff that makes it a little bit more fun than real life, I should say. But Mia was also one that I was like, okay, I cannot think of someone aside from being like pretty and blonde. Like I was like, I can't picture someone like I couldn't picture anyone. But then I thought a little bit more about it and I was like, if I had to, it's very much like Sabrina Carpenter, like that vibe, super cute, but also like total girl boss. And then Eddie has always kind of just been like a Tyler Posey because I was a huge Teen Wolf fan.
That makes
So
so much sense.
yeah.
It's so
That's so
good.
helpful. That's so helpful for us. We didn't
It
have anyone
really
for
is.
Eddie.
I was like thinking about it and I was like, okay, because I was such a Teen Wolf fan, and then it got like then I like kind of I wasn't a big fan of it like in later seasons, but I loved Jane the Virgin, and Tyler Posey guest starred on Jane the Virgin. Yes.
Yes.
That
The
was like
love song.
around the time I was like, okay, there he is. That's him.
Oh, love that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Now that I'm thinking back about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, he's so Tyler Posey.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. Yeah, I have that weird thing too where I either picture the same like celebrities or like people or like okay, sometimes I'm like is this just some random person I've seen in like edits or something? Because I'm like, this is not like a celebrity whose name I know, but like I do picture this person every time for these characters. So I'm like, I don't know where they're at or who they are, but that's who I'm always picturing in books. Um, or like nobody at all. Or I'll just like picture myself,
Mhm.
which is funny. Um, wow. Oh my gosh, love that so much. So actually, someone that's kind of funny. Like I pictured for some reason. I think it's just because I've been listening to a lot of their music. But I asked Issa because I was like, oh, I don't know why, but I've been picturing like Jansen from The Wildlife as Mateo, even though they're not personality matches at all. But I think I was just thinking about them being like my favorite band. So I was like, well, besides Five Sauce. Um, and so yeah, it's funny because like my music is starting to influence who I'm picturing when I'm reading stuff that like has to do with music. I'm like, oh, they're in a band, automatically this person. So that's just kind of funny. But we do absolutely love the playlist. And obviously we talked a little bit about the playlist's role in the story and helping you plan. Um, but yeah, it just really felt like we were listening to our own like Spotify blend that it makes for Issa and I together, like combined. We're like, wow, this is such our taste and like straight from our libraries. So it's like fun to see that because I don't know, it also feels different than like playlists we've seen for for other books because now I feel like so many I love Taylor Swift, but I'm like so many books the playlists are like just Taylor Swift. I'm like, give me some angsty pop punk, like that's what we need.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, like honestly, like where'd you get the songs from? Like we just kind of like listening with intention of trying to find things that fit the story, or more just like you'd hear it while you're listening to your own playlist and be like, oh, add this.
Yes. Okay. So I had to pull up the playlist. I have a copy of Crash and Burn because I was like, I looking at the playlist, I like again, like core memory for some reason, like trying to kind of order the playlist in a way that like, because I'm not really big on like you have to listen to the playlist in order. Like I think all the vibes kind of match, but there were specific songs that I heard. So my fiance and I, and then my brother and his girlfriend, we saw Post Malone when he came to Milwaukee. This was like a while ago now, not like that long ago, but it like I know it's longer ago than I think it was. Like it wasn't just last year. But so I was listening to Post Malone's new album just like on repeat, like just over and over again. It would finish, I would listen to it in order, and I would just go back to the beginning. And so I would say two songs off that album were kind of like the ones that I was like, okay, like I think this is their vibe. Because at that point, I knew that me and Eddie were brother's best friend. Like I knew that was going to be the trope because I wanted to write it. And I knew that I wanted some sort of like sneaking around aspect. Um, Fun fact, he was actually not in a band until like right before I published Giving Me Butterflies. Like I would say like a week or two before like it went live, I did like one last round of changes and I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool if like Eddie was in a band or something. Cause like, how was I didn't want to write a whole another book about just another bartender and like brother's best friend. I was like, how is that going to work? Cause that's the other thing about me is like, I'm a total, like, just whatever. It's all the vibes. Like, I don't plan anything. I knew it was going to be brother's best friend. How? Don't know, but we eventually got there. But I was like, ooh, like drummer is kind of fun. Like, we'll just make him like part-time drummer. And that's literally one line in Giving Me Butterflies that he was a bartender and a part-time drummer. I just kind of like sprinkled that in. So I was like, all right, now we're stuck with it. And so then the two Post Malone songs for sure. And then Perfect by One Direction. It just was constantly like, cause that song is like, it's it's just always gonna be in my heart. Like, love that song. But I always loved the whole like the line of like rendezvous in like hotel rooms. And I was like, oh my gosh, if he's in a band, they're gonna be like touring and then they're gonna like sneak around like in the hotel rooms. So literally that line is like the only reason that we had that aspect of the story too, which it's kind of funny now saying that out loud because it's actually like a really big part. But those were I say were the two songs, and then throughout the rest of like the music, I would say like looking at the music, most of them were just on playlists that I have. Because that's a fun fact about me too, is that finding new music is not really what I do. I listen to the same playlists and the same music. Like Giving Me Butterflies playlist is all just music I listened to like in middle school and beyond. But I would say the only song I actually like looked for was the Niall Horan song because I was like, because I couldn't like off the top of my head, I couldn't think about a song that talked about brown eyes. And like a big thing is like Mia's brown eyes. So I was like, and you know, when you try and think of something, nothing pops into your head. So I had to like do some digging for that one. And then, of course, songs from when they go to the karaoke bar, which is my favorite part. And so those songs were on there too.
That's so fun. When I saw the playlist, I was like, oh my gosh, boys like girls. This is all I need. This is all I want. Like,
Oh my gosh, we just saw them. They came to Madison not that long ago and we saw them and it was like and they toured with someone with another band, State Champs, I also have a song of
yes.
theirs on my playlist and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm seeing it like in real life." Like, "Oh my gosh, it's like they're actually the band." Like, "Oh my gosh, I was having like this moment and I was like telling Max, I was like, "We have to get close so I can get a good video because I can't not see these songs live." Especially when they're
Yes.
going to be on the playlist.
Oh my gosh. No, I know. I went to visit Sam in Nebraska in early October And we went to a couple shows there. And then I came home and I saw Boys Like Girls in Seattle the next
Yeah,
week. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And so like seeing them and then seeing state champs too, I was like, oh my gosh. And then seeing the place, I was like, I'm reliving it already. And there was One
literally.
Direction. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So did you have like a favorite line or moment that you've written? Like it can be either giving me butterflies or crash and burn or something else.
I would
Whatever.
say I wrote Giving Me Butterflies, I wrote Crash and Burn. I will probably never read them in full ever again because I will probably find something I don't like about them or something wrong with them. So but so I don't have necessarily like lines in my head, but like for moments, I would say for Giving Me Butterflies, I really loved being able to write more of Drew and Emmett in the story, specifically Drew, because in Giving Me Butterflies, she has this like phone call with her best friend about, stuff that she's struggling with. And a big thing for Drew was always like wanting to be strong, wanting to like not have to rely on other people. And so in Giving Me Butterflies, her best friend at one point says something along the lines of like how relying on someone doesn't make you less strong, but it makes you less alone. And then I was able to pull that into Crash and Burn, where Drew then tells that to Mia when they're having like a heart to heart. So I really like that advice. And so then those moments were kind of cool to tie in together. Also like I'm a huge sucker for like the love confessions. Like so anytime like one of the characters gives like the paragraphs of like love confessions, I love writing them. I love reading them. And I always love those like I love this, and this about you moments and like the it's always been you moments. So I really like in Giving Me Butterflies Emmett's declaration of his feelings because part of Giving Me Butterflies, like the tropes is like a he falls first. And he's a very much like it's like the grumpy and like or yeah, it's like I like grumpy sunshine, but I think for them it's more of like sunshine and like sunshine protector because like he's only has like the soft side for Drew. And that was fun to also play up in Crash and Burn because I know a lot of people reading Crash and Burn haven't read Giving Me Butterflies. So it's like you get to see a little bit of like that couple. So it's like, oh, maybe you'll want to like read their story. But I love like the whole like I hate everyone but you. So Emmett's love confession is one of my favorite moments. And then not to give any spoilers for Crash and Burn, I actually posted this on Instagram today, like my favorite moments from Crash and Burn. But definitely in the green room, backstage, like after the band debuts like their new song. That's like one of my faves because it's like the tension really like bubbling over.
That's so amazing. Oh my
Crazy.
goodness. I obviously I've not finished, so I'm not like don't know everything. But so far, okay. I'm a sucker. I've learned this over the last like 2 months. Like before I didn't think I was that into it, but now I've realized I really love when like a first kiss scene for me, like it will either be like just like yeah, cool, good first kiss, or it'll be like I'm jaw on the floor for like how this is written, and that's how I was last night when I was reading Crash and Burn. It was so it was so good. It's in my head right now because I'm just like the way it like is what comes like before and after for me that like just keeps me like I don't know, kicking my feet a little bit.
I love it.
Um, but yes, I love that moment. And obviously I'll probably have more favorite moments, but me personally, I loved First Kiss.
Theirs was a good one. It was like
It was
just
so
so
good.
I tried to make it like kind of like out of left field, but also not because like no one wants like an out of left field. But that tension, man, it really rising with them.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Um, I know we've talked a little bit about how, you put in some of like yourself and the people in your life into your characters, but is there a specific character from the series that you've written that you find yourself relating to the most?
This is funny. I'm looking at my notes and I just literally wrote Drew, LOL. Like and the reason being, I said this a little bit before, but like writing Giving Me Butterflies, like I had no intent to publish. So a lot of me like went into her, not only like, her style or, the way like, I mean, her profession, because again, you have to write about what you know, and specifically with, some of the conflict in Giving Me Butterflies, like I had to write from a place of like very personal place. And so also like oldest child, only daughter, like being a homebody, being a book girly, like also the way she views herself in the world. A lot of it came from me and who I am. And that was something that was like going back, I know not to backtrack, but going back to the question about like, advice for other indie authors, but like you have to write about what you know, because even though like I know we were talking about like how Taylor Swift is always like Taylor Swift vibes, like in lots of books, like again, love it, love her, but also like I Giving Me Butterflies does have like a little bit more of like the punk pop playlist and like a little more like angst and a little bit more like, more of who I am as a person. And so I think like you have to write about what you know and what you want. And it also makes the connections like so much that you make with readers and other people like so much more genuine and so much more special. Like I remember one of the first reviews I got for Giving Me Butterflies was from someone who like she literally wrote like I love alt love like with because they were like the Vans and he has tattoos and they listened to A Day to Remember and like all this stuff. And that review was so special because it was like, oh my gosh, like there are people who have like the same interest as you and like the same kind of music as you, all that stuff. And it's just like so much more meaningful. I know that was kind of like off track, um but yeah, so definitely Drew, who she is. She's one that like, and again, like being able to write more of her in Crash and Burn, like her coming out of like her shell a little bit more, her being a little bit more of a side character rather than the main character was super fun.
Giving Me Butterflies is definitely on my TBR. As soon as I get through a little bit of my never-ending TBR. It's so hard. There's just so much out there. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm just a girl.
Literally.
Okay, one of our favorite questions to ask is like, is there a book or books that you would absolutely recommend to everyone?
Oh my gosh, I came stacked with this question. I have all-time favorite series. I have romance, dark romance, fantasy, and thriller recommendations for all. I saw this question and I was like,
Amazing.
I'm taking this seriously. So
As you should.
thank you. That's what I'm saying. I
Understood the assignment.
literally, I mean, I am a teacher. I tell my students, I'm like, you read all the directions and you answer all parts of the questions. No, but I'm always going to like, no matter who you are, how old you are, like you could be my grandpa, you could be like a student in my classroom. I will always say Twilight, the Twilight series. And I was just re-listening to, I think it was you guys, it was one of the first, I think it was the first episode of season 5 where you guys were talking a little bit of Twilight and having to jump back into it. I was like, perfect. I will recommend that series to everyone. I like, if I didn't have my never-ending TBR, I think I would reread it like once every couple months because it's just like, it's just so good. I put it in every single one of my books. I think about it all the time. Love it. So the Twilight series. When it comes to like just cute, like I wouldn't say cutesy, but just like romance. I know Archer's voice is kind of like one of the more, I feel like I hear that a lot. But also Yours Truly by Amy Jimenez. Oh my gosh, it changed my life. Cried like after reading it just because it was just so cute. Loved Yours Truly. The Monster Muses series for dark romance by Savar Miller. I think about that series probably once a day at the minimum. And then fantasy is From Blood to Ash. Only because, fun fact about that, I read From Blood to Ash a couple years ago. It was one of my first fantasy books, like after getting back into reading, and I finished the first book. I had plans to go out that night, like out to dinner with some friends. I literally canceled because I was like, I cannot leave my house after finishing this book. I need to just sit at home and decompress after how that book ended. So I was like, I recommend it to everyone because everyone should have a good emotional roller coaster. And then I really like Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins for a thriller, because sometimes you just like a nice and easy thriller.
I'm so
So now
glad
you
that you
can
love
add those all to
Twilight.
your TBR, and I expect you to message me when you read all of them. Thank you very much.
Okay. Aye, Captain. No, literally
Twist my arm.
when I saw Twilight and I was like, no way. There's and people don't just say, oh yeah, Twilight's my favorite movie, like in books, unless Twilight is like actually up there on the list. So it's like we are one of the same.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It always finds its way back to me.
Always. I'll always give it to you. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Well, aside from books, we have to also talk about tropes. So, are there any tropes you feel super strongly about, whether that is good or bad?
Okay, so I was like, I with this question, I was kind of like, I really had to think about it. I don't think there are any tropes that I wouldn't read aside from cheating, which I don't even like consider a trope because it's like it's just not for me. But but was thinking about this and I was like, okay, there's no trope that I like feel strongly against, that's for sure. But all-time favorite tropes are forced proximity. And my reason being is because it works with like any kind of genre within, I guess genre is not the right word, but it works with any kind of like sub genre of romance. Because, and it's kind of like a silly answer, but like with forced proximity, they're together more. And I always want to see them together. I don't want these like bouts of time where they're not together. And then found family, of course, because I think it's just a superior trope. But that's kind of like my top. I don't know if this is like unpopular opinion, but I'm not like the biggest fan of sports romances, only because like there's just such a fine line between like scenes that actually have to do with the sports and just like them being part of it, like honest in a sport. Because I've read some sports romances that I'm like, I don't need to know the whole football game. I don't need a play by play unless it's pertinent to the story. But that's kind of where I am with tropes. And also, I saw this narrative going around on threads about the miscommunication trope. I think like people really don't like the miscommunication trope, but I feel like it's a very realistic trope. So sometimes like even though it's frustrating to read, it's a little bit of real life. So sometimes you need that in your romance.
That's so true.
Yes. Reformed miscommunication trope hater, because I've learned that all my 6-star, 5-star books have a lot of miscommunication. So I'm like, wait, maybe I don't dislike it.
Okay. I just like it most of the time because I feel like most of the time it's just not done well. When it's done well, then it's fine because you don't
Right.
notice it. If you don't notice, if you don't notice a bad trope, then it's done well. It's done the way it's supposed to be. If you notice the bad trope, then obviously it's bad. So I know you mentioned that Lenny's Bartenders is gonna be a trilogy, so 3 whole
Mhm.
books, and that you also said that you've only done the fun stuff, the fun part of planning it, which you know what, totally fair. But have you uh thought about maybe what's next after that, if there is something after that, or anything else you would like to share about that?
So I'll be working on the third book. I told myself after Crash and Burn release, I'll give myself some time and then I'll actually dive into book three. But I've been talking to a friend of mine and she is someone who literally I can bounce like any ideas off of and she will give me that energy like right back. And so half of like a lot of the epilogue and extended epilogue for Crash and Burn was also like a lot of her. So she's been helping me bounce ideas out off of what to do after. I really like the idea of like a spinoff from Lenny's Bartenders, which I kind of announced like on my plans for 2024 post on Instagram, but I'm thinking of having it be kind of one of the characters' siblings will kind of be like the tie between the two, like I guess you could say like the two stories or the two series. And also I was thinking how if you've read Crash and Burn, you know that they Cross My Heart, the band rehearses next door to Lenny's. And so I was like, well, I could do something like with that area too, like maybe eventually. So thinking of how to tie the two series together, but I definitely have some ideas for a duet that maybe spins off of Lenny's Bartenders, connecting with one of the characters, brothers or something.
Love that. I love like connections. Like
Me
even if they're
too.
not like so closely related, it's like it's just putting like your nice little like sprinkle in. It's like, yeah, like this is distinguishing this story from being like anybody else's like story but mine. Because it's like
Yeah.
this is my universe, my cinematic universe.
And I feel
So
like people who have been with you, like who have like been along the ride, like really appreciate it too. I know like when I read series and you see the little connections, you're like, oh, I saw that. I see what you're doing, you know?
Yes. Except usually they go over my head and then Sam will tell me like if it's the same actually like a book we did just read to together-ish. I was like, I don't get this part. And then she explained it to me. I was like, oh, yeah. Even if I would have liked it more than I did, would have gone right over my head. I would not have understood it. So I'm like, wow. Or like sometimes I'll like come up with my theories and be like, oh my gosh, this is what this means. And then absolutely nothing happens. I'm like, oh, cool. That's great.
But you're thinking about it. That's all that matters.
sometimes though Issa really does think about it more than me because like stuff obviously went way over my head, and I thought some things in another book we read together were like the biggest plot twists in the world. And then after she finished, she sent me a screenshot of her notes app where like she like time stamped her prediction, what page she was on, what her prediction is, and it ended up being like the major plot twist of the book at the end that I was super shocked by. So it's just funny. Like those things always just I love. I don't know. I love
I
being a
love
little detective when I read.
that.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was so much fun. But as always, again, as always, that's what I always say. Um, this is so fun that like you're such a music girly like us. And so ending this episode with our song of the day is gonna be that much more fun. And I'm so stoked to hear what you guys have to say. So Sam, what is your song of the day?
Okay, I didn't even make the connection to this being my song of the day, but so my song of the day is Rumors by the Driver Era because it's just so good and I was listening to it when I was getting coffee yesterday, so it's just been stuck in my head. But I do happen to have somebody in my life who had an experience last night um where she may or may not have met somebody. And I'm also using this song to manifest that he will fall in love with her. So I can't say much else, but um, it may or may not involve Ross Lynch falling in love with one of my friends. So I really, really hope that this happens for her. So,
I wish I
Me
was the friend you're
too.
talking about.
right. No, literally. Um, oh yeah, because Issa's also like really manifesting her rock star boyfriend era. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'll
Always.
find someone else. I'll pick another song and start manifesting for you too. Um,
Perfect.
but Katie, what's your song of the day?
Okay, so I was between three, and it just so happened we also talked about them today, but I will forever like on brand with Crash and Burn. So Wrapped Around My Finger by Post Malone is just so good. Anything Post Malone, so good. But honorable mentions, I will say Language by Boys Like Girls or Act Like That by State Champs, just because again, we gotta be on brand for Crash and Burn. You gotta get in it's those are the perfect songs to really get the vibe. So those again, Post Malone, Wrapped Around My Finger is my song, but could not help but add some honorable mentions.
Oh my gosh, no, that's perfect. Because I was gonna honorable mention one of those actually. But my song is Little White Lies by One Direction. And as you know, I've been listening to my Hype, Five Sauce, and One Direction playlist lately. And that one's just really in it. And I'm like, wow, this goes along with Crash and Burn. How fun. But I was gonna also be like, also Language by Boys Like Girls.
Yes,
It's so good.
it's perfect. I love it.
Wow, that was so fun. I cannot believe I learned so many things. And I'm so motivated to finish reading Crash and Burn because like I love it so much and I'm like I want to know the rest. Like I ended at a really bad place to end last night. Like I was like I need to keep going, but my boyfriend asked me to like go play video games with him. So I was like, yeah, I'll put it down. But I was
Ooh,
like,
Zeke.
I told him I was like, I
That's
could
so rude of
actually stay
him.
up all night reading this.
Oh, I love. Wait, where did you end? I have to know now.
Oh, I ended like right when after the first time they were in the hotel together, like after the first show, and yeah, right after that when she was like, stay.
Oh, I
And
love it.
I was like, I need to know.
I love it. That's such a good part. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think you're in a good spot.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun.
Oh my
Seriously,
gosh.
thank you so much for like agreeing to do this and coming on and talking with us and just letting us pick your brain.
Oh my
It
God.
was so good.
Course. I'm so honored. I'm so excited. And yeah, if you guys ever want someone, I this was so fun. And I'm so excited to hear it. That's gonna be
No,
so weird.
reliving the conversation is fun because you forget like half the things that happen,
Honestly, I think I
Yeah,
obviously.
blacked out for half of
Yeah.
this anyway. So it's gonna be
totally
a
fair.
surprise.
No, totally fair. And honestly, like we talk about this all the time, but we're just like, wow, Katie is so cool. Like we're like, we are so excited to talk with her. Like she's just such a cool girl.
Stop, you guys.
For real.
I was telling my fiance, I was like, I wonder how people like view me because I told them actually before this, I was like, I'm gonna do this on the couch. He's like, no, you're not gonna do it on the couch. Like you need to like sit up and like, be like a little put together. And I was like, but my brand is kind of just like whatever works for you, sort of like just whatever the vibes are. But then I was like, wait, I wonder how people like view me because it's like you don't really think about that. It's like it's weird. And we were talking about like the pockets of people too. I was like, that's crazy. Crazy stuff.
Yes. Oh my goodness. No, you're
Well,
so
thank
cool.
you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you.
so much.
These episodes are our virtual Valentines from us to you.
We hope you have a new book for your never ending TBR, a new song to add to your playlist, and a new indie author to follow on Instagram.
And as always, we would love if you left us a rate and review on whatever stream platform you use. And if you want more from us, you can find us on Instagram at likewise_pod. This was so much fun, and I hope you both have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks, Issa, and likewise to you all.
Lots of love.
And remember, look fab, feel fab.